This is a 2015 Mazda 6. What we're going to do here is the rear brakes and rotors, and we're going to check the fluid level in the master cylinder before we do it and after we do it. Okay, before I lift the car off the ground, do a brake job or two, rotate the tires. I break them loose. Okay, close enough. Okay, to jack this car up, we just have to get under one of the arms here. And I only have to lift it up about an inch, because once the tire clears the ground, that's all we need. The other thing I want to do before we get started, I just want to check the level. Here's the maximum and here is the minimum right here. So it's getting down to the minimum part, but when we squeeze the calipers together, that fluid will rise here. So I don't want to add anything in until later on. Alright, here's the rear brakes. Here's a caliper, here's the bracket, here's the rotor. Notice the rotors are not damaged at all. And here, notice, is the emergency brake with the cable that goes to the pedal underneath the dashboard. So let's take these two bolts off right here and get the caliper off. Also, here's the bleeder screw. Here's the brake hose. Okay, so this happens to be a number 14. Right there, 14 it goes. Just a little jerk. Break it loose. Okay, this one happens to, the nut spins over here, so I'll just grab a hold of that. Okay, takes care of that. Now we'll just lift this off, nice and gently. Away it goes. I'll just set that off to the side, because on this one it's not the brake hose that's holding it, it's the emergency brake cable, so that's easy. Okay, so once again, look how simple these are. See, just slide it right out. Now to get the bracket off itself, here there are two bolts, one right here and one right here. So we'll just take those two bolts off, and that will take off this whole bracket. There's one. Here is the other one. one. Okay, here's the second bolt, and here it is. Just as simple as that. Okay, so here's what we have. New brake pads for the back. Comes with all the clips. Here's pads. Notice this has a little clip on here. So, well, let's take these apart. Once again, they just come right out of there. Nothing to it. Okay, so we have to remember, this one has the different type bracket on here. Yeah, let's see what we have for clips. Like I say, normally I wouldn't replace these, but since they came with it, a lot of these brakes don't come with all these extra clips. Alright, so let's see. I'll start anywhere, it doesn't make any difference. There's one. Let's see. Looks identical. Okay. So snap that right into place. Then we'll just look at this other one. And here we go. Push it right in there. Alright, with the clips on, I will put a little grease on them. Once again, I'm using this brake grease. Don't need a lot, just put some on there. And I'll just put some on the edges here. Don't touch the brake pads. Also on this side. Take a little sandpaper, just roughen it up a little bit. Okay, so what we'll do, is put this one in, just give a little twist. There, that's set right in place. And we'll do the same thing with this one. And just put it in there. Give a little twist. There we go. Ready to go. So let's go put this back on the car. See, the rotor, what happens is that they just rust around here. Little WD-40 on there. Let it sit for a minute or two. Here's your rotor. That's it. So we'll just clean this up along over here a little bit, and then there it is. And it's got a screw here in case you don't want to beat it. You take a screw and you screw it in here, and it will slowly push it out. Okay, now with this emergency brake piston, you'll see it's got a little notch here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right here. It also, on the brake pad, it has a notch right in here. A pin right here. So that pin has to go in that area right there. Okay, so we have okay, that's one bolt started. Okay, so let's just tackle. Let's tighten those two bolts. Okay, so the bracket is on there nice and tight. Here's the brake. Okay, I'm going to take that back out because I want to use a little brake cleaner here. Clean off that rotor really nice. Then we'll put this guy back in here. Just twist, pop them in. There's the other side. There you go. So, if you didn't want to change these pins, or you didn't want to take the bracket off, these just come right out. There's nothing to it. They just slip in. There, nothing to it. So, there's the two discs and a rotor spinning. Alright, the next thing is I want to push this piston in. Can you see that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is be very careful here. Okay, normally when I push the piston back, I usually just use a big pair of pliers like this. Okay, but you can't do that with these because this piston has to be turned in clockwise. Boy, there's no shortage of gardeners around here. So I had to I got this tool from O'Reilly's just because they lend you the tools for free. So basically just put this in here like this, okay, and then you got two notches here and you got two notches here. So these two will go right in these two little grooves. This goes against this bracket here. Now, you just make sure that this rubber is loose like this so that the piston doesn't grab it and rip it. Okay, so we get this in here. line up those. Okay, now this plate is tight against here. The adapter over here with the 2 pins are in the 2 slots, and now we can slowly turn this. As you'll see, that is turning inward. Okay. And which is, it pushes the piston in. Okay, so what we want to do is make it even, but we have to stop where it's above and below, because on the pads themselves, the one on the inside has a little notch, and that notch fits right in there, like that. Okay, so now the rubber's okay. Now we can put in the brake pad. Alright, that's one side in. So here's the other one. Just push it right in. Simple. See? Here you go. Alright, now there's a rotor spinning between the 2 brakes. So as the caliper squeezes, it stops the car. Now with the piston pushed all the way back, just put right over the top. Okay, here's that special tool, disc brake calipers tool set that I got from O'Reilly's. So here's all the parts. Here's the one that we used, that one. And then we use this little one. And here is the main tool itself. Lifesaver. Don't know how you do it without it. There it is. Okay, now we got them started. It's amazing how much traffic I have on the street when I get my camera out. Okay, there's the dogs gonna bark. There's the city inspector come by because somebody putting the roof on. Okay, so we tighten these up. The caliper's all set. Here's the bleeder. We don't have to do anything because we just pushed it in. Okay, so what I normally do, not everybody does, but I put a little drop of oil on these studs, just because somebody's got to take this back off again. It'll just make it a little easier. Set it to the center. There we go. Okay, so basically I just go in a start pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what'll happen is when I set the tire down, then I'll tighten it up for a final. Okay, so I'm gonna lower the jack. And let me finish tightening this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See, we go in a crisscross in a start pattern. And that's it. And then you can come over here to the master cylinder, and you can see when we started out it was lower. Now it's a little higher. It's just below the max, so we really don't need any more brake fluid. And if you did, more dogs. And if you need to replace it, it says .3 fluid, but this one doesn't need any. So it tells you what to buy. So after you change the brakes, you should pump the pedal a couple times, just so the calipers connect together.